That One Bullshit Problem with Gaming, the show where I talk about my issues with gaming, and in today's episode I'm talking about broken video games. So if you're a regular on the channel, you may have seen some of my bullshit trophy episodes focused on Dirt 5 and the unobtainable Platinum Trophy. Well, they eventually patched the game about a month after they said they would actually patch it, and this only made things worse as the game actually just broke as soon as you tried to launch the career. So this resulted in yet another patch a few days later to address this update. So while I technically did everything I needed to do to get the Platinum about a month ago, I could now finally download this new 2.01 update on my PS5, fire it up and finally unlock that Platinum Trophy and be done with this game once and for all. So I jumped onto the game, hesitantly checked career, and thankfully it actually loaded me into the event selection screen this time, so things were looking good at this point. So I didn't unlock any trophies immediately, but I remember looking on the Twitter feed and it said that you needed to complete a career event, and as soon as you get to the race results screen, the game seems to do a check and it will just unlock any trophy that you've already met the requirements for. So I picked one of the small sprint tracks that were just easy to drive around and just finish it as quick as possible, and I found that some of the trophies were actually unlocking. But it wasn't as simple as they said, where you just had to complete one event. I had to piss about going into different modes and trying different things in order to force some of these trophies to unlock, which was a bit of a pain, but one by one they started to unlock. I got my spare change for gas trophy for doing the 1,000 miles. I got the 10 clean laps trophy, the trophy for completing every event in career, the trophy for reaching level 50 in rank, and it was all looking good at this point. I thought, yes, finally I'm going to get this Platinum Trophy, as these were starting to unlock one by one, and I was feeling more and more confident, if a little nervous, as I was getting them. And then I realised that there was still one trophy left, the I'll show them all trophy for unlocking every throwdown event. This one just does not want to pop, even though, as you can see here, I have clearly already unlocked all of the throwdown events throughout the career. So as you're progressing through the career and doing all the races, you will eventually start to get more of these challenges that just automatically trigger, and the trophies for just unlocking them, you don't actually have to play them. So I thought, well, let's try and just complete one of these throwdown events, and once I got to the results screen, the trophy still didn't pop. It's still broken and I still can't get the Platinum, after this has been an issue since the game launched when the PS5 came out in November. This is an absolute joke. This is a patch to fix a broken patch that came before it, and it's still broken. This is an absolute joke, man. Oh my god, do you remember back in the day when games came out and they were actually just legitimately functional because they couldn't patch them? I mean, Christ alive. But you know what? That's not necessarily always the case. I mean, you've only got to look back at the previous generations to see that games still released in broken states. I mean, take a look at Sonic 06, one of the most notorious games for being a broken buggy mess, and I remember getting this on my PS3 and being really excited to play a new next-gen version of Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was absolute garbage. It was a complete and utter dumpster fire of a release, and to my knowledge, I don't really remember it getting patched massively to fix all of the problems. So if you were to play this today, you will still encounter a lot of these issues through the stupidly long load screens that would load something for 10 seconds and then take another minute or two to load the next loading screen for the next part of the cutscene or whatever, to all the weird gameplay glitches like this conveyor belt glitch here, or what about the infamous Silver fight where you can just get trapped in an endless loop as Silver shouts, "It's no use!" and he attacks you and pushes you back, but then instead of dying, you end up getting one of the rings automatically as it bounces into you, and then he just repeats that telekinesis move over and over again, so you can't actually die and restart. Or how about other times where he will just grab you and send you flying into space, and you just go higher and higher and just never seem to just die because you're just floating in space miles away from the game area. I mean, just look at this shit. This was absolutely terrible, and Sega were known for releasing really buggy and messy and broken Sonic games, and they even delisted a lot of these now in pure embarrassment. But that doesn't stop there. That wasn't the only game. Oh no. I remember Tomb Raider, The Angel of Darkness on PS2 coming out and being an absolute disappointment, mainly because it just didn't feel like the old Tomb Raiders and it was just a weird game in general, but also because of how unfinished and buggy the game was. And I was really hyped for this game. I was waiting years to finally get a new Tomb Raider, and I remember this game getting delayed multiple times before it finally released in maybe April, I think. And when it came out, it was absolutely broken. You would get things like Lara Croft just randomly screaming constantly as if she's falling from a great height about to die, but you could just be walking around and she just starts screaming, which was really freaky. Then there's the progression bugs in the game that can just block you and cause you to fail. And then how about this one where everything in the world, or pretty much everything anyway, just goes black. I remember getting this in one of the street levels at night time when I had to go down into a sewer, and as soon as I went down the manhole, the whole area just went black like this, and I just couldn't see anything, and I didn't know where I had to go. And it's just really weird. There's just so many problems with this game, and it was an absolute joke, and it did cause the developer Core Design to lose the Tomb Raider franchise, and then Crystal Dynamics later rebooted it. But this was an absolute mess, and there was even a glitch with the ponytail.
Are you fucking kidding me?
But it doesn't end there, because games are being released as broken and unfinished as Dirt was, even back on the PS1 and N64 era, because we all know there's that awful game Superman 64, and if you can get past those flying rings, well played, because they are just garbage. This game was just really unbalanced, the controls were awful, the camera was awful, and the gameplay was just terrible. But there is even weird glitches in the game, like this here. You can't even get this box through this doorway because it hits the top of the doorway and explodes. I mean, what the fuck were they thinking there? You can even carry on moving with Superman still in the animation of lifting the box. And look at this glitch here. You could actually put the box down and then it just sort of teleports to your feet. Jesus Christ, man. So, yeah, games have been broken and messy for a long time, and things never seem to change. You will always get that one game that comes out that's just an absolute clusterfuck, and it's always annoying. But nowadays, with the bigger games with more complex things going on in them, you know, and even like trophy support being added to them, there's lots more room for things to just go wrong and just completely fuck up. And it's really frustrating that they often just release it anyway because they're going to do a day one patch to fix things, whereas at least in the olden days they would be more strict in having to have a functional game in the first place, because on PS1 and Mega Drive and NES days you weren't going to get an update. But before we finish this video, let's go back to 2020 and take a look at one of this year's most notoriously buggy and broken games. Yep, that's right, Cyberpunk 2077. And what you're going to see now on screen is a compilation of some of the many glitches various famous streamers have encountered as they have been playing the game. So I don't really need to go on too much about this game, as it's been pretty well documented, the rise and fall of this game. And if, like me, you have a base model PS4, then you are going to be encountering a lot of problems. And yes, CD Projekt Red have been updating this game throughout the weeks that it's been released, and they have promised 2 big patches in January and February to help improve the game further. But let's face it, this game should not have been released like this, in this state. I mean, look at that there with the bike and the naked T-pose. It's just horrendous how they could have just done this. But this company are now facing all sorts of lawsuits, and their reputation has been damaged beyond repair. And to be honest, I don't feel sorry for them at all, because they knew what they were doing. They hid this PS4 version, the base PS4 version, from the public. They refused to show it, and review embargoes couldn't talk about these versions because they didn't actually get this version of the game to review. They could only look at the PC version, and even that has still got loads of problems with it. Though it will run a bit better than the base PS4 version, there are still plenty of bugs for you to find, cut content, bad AI, cops that just teleport in out of nowhere, empty cities that are just lifeless, really. Loads of issues. This is a real stripped back game to what they were promising with all those trailers they've been showing. And what makes it worse for me is the fact that they've been working on this game for like 8 years. I mean, what were they doing? When the game can patch itself 2 or 3 times in the space of a month and fix a load of big things, just how bad was this broken at the start of the year when this game was originally supposed to come out? Jeez, I dread to think what it looked like. My God. So yeah, there you go. An absolute failure of a product. And I actually have this game. I got this game for Christmas, but I've refused to play it. It's literally just sitting there. I can see it beside the TV stand now, and it's just, I'm not playing it. I don't want to play it like this because it will just kill my enjoyment of the game, because bugs like this will just take you out of the experience or even just get in the way. And I aim to platinum this game, and I hear that there's certain things that can break when you're going for it, so I'm just hoping they're going to fix all these things in the meantime. So one of my Christmas presents I'm not even going to use until probably at the earliest of March, once all these updates have come out, and that's only if it seems to be like really more improved than what it is currently. And yes, I'm going to be playing it on my PS5, but still, I still don't know whether I really want to do it at that point. Maybe I'll just wait for the PS5 upgrade version to come out properly and just platinum it on that one instead, because games and gamers deserve better. There's a lot of people who have worked on this game, and yeah, obviously they didn't want to release a bad product, but someone somewhere decided to release it early to get the Christmas sales and just get that money, and to the detriment of everyone who worked on it, really. Because no one wants to release a buggy game. But in the case of Dirt 5, when you release a game on PS5 that is just completely broken at launch and doesn't even have sound on the intro movie at launch, and that only gets fixed 3 patches later, and then in those patches they make more problems and still don't have all the trophies fixed, they only have themselves to blame here. There's no excuses for this. This is a joke, and the game shouldn't have come out yet. This game deserves to burn in hell, but wake me up when you finally have that trophy fixed so I can get the platinum and fucking uninstall it.